This season, Instacart has your back to school. As in, they've got your back to school lunch favorites like snack packs and fresh fruit. And they've got your back to school supplies like backpacks, binders, and pencils. And they've got your back when your kid casually tells you they have a huge school project due tomorrow. Let's face it, we were all that kid. So first, call your parents to say I'm sorry, and then download the Instacart app to get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes all school year long. Get a $0 delivery fee with your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 an order. Additional terms apply.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, a music podcast where we chat to a new guest each week, talk about their life and creative endeavours, and talk to them about some of the music they love. Our show works by chatting to our guests about music, their songwriting technique, and occasionally getting them to make you a playlist of the songs they love. Welcome to episode 126. I'm your host, Simon Fink. Our guests today are Wanderers. The soul and rock band from South Australia have just released their third EP today, entitled Wanderers. In today's episode, we're speaking with frontman Dusty Lee about playing South by Southwest, the evolution of the band's sound, and the songwriting technique of Silk Sonic. Here we go. Our guests today are a 2-piece band from Adelaide, South Australia. They effortlessly blend together soul, pop and rock, and today are releasing their self-titled third EP. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Dusty Lee from Wanderers. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are we this morning?
We're good. I feel good. I woke up and got the Cutler. It's release day, congratulations messages, which is nice. And then I made a coffee, and then now I'm talking to you. It's good. It's a good morning so far. Can't complain.
In terms of how mornings can go, that's not too bad. It is, as you mentioned.
Yeah, it's like a 7, I think. Yeah, I think it's like a 7.
7's good. 7, I'll gladly take a 7 over the last few years. It is release day for yourselves. The self-titled Wanderers EP is out today. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, I was going to say this is the first. There's been singles, but this is the first kind of body of work from Wanderers since I think 2017.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that seems like a little bit too long ago, I think. We were intending to release this record. So what is it now? It's 2022. We were actually intending to release this record in 2020, and there was some weird thing that happened to the world where it completely shut itself. So it kind of prevented all of that. But it was, and it was going to be an album, and we were going to record it in Los Angeles. So everything. But the process of things changing, and then us being able to execute like a new plan. There's like a little while there where you're just trying to where you're just hanging on to the old plan, and you're just waiting to see how things go. So there was a lot of just delays in. We had to eventually go, okay, actually that's just not going to happen. If we want to be able to get this music out and move on to the next body of work, then we need to do it ourselves here and kind of go back to the drawing board. But yeah, there was a little bit of time in between us making that decision and kind of still hanging on to the ideas that we already had of how it was going to go. So yeah, that's been the last couple of years.
Of course, there was a and not to bring it up, I know you mentioned it. There was a period in time where it looked like Wanderers were going to record in LA. I think at is it Studio 606 or it's 6?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, actually, they've just that's Foo Fighters are about to release a movie called Studio 606. I don't know, 666. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for that one, but
yeah.
Irrelevant, but just funny because that's their Studio 606. But yeah, when we were over there, right before, October 2019, and we did a bit of a tour over there and played in New York and did some cool things. Went back to LA, and then we went to their studio, and so this label was wanting us to make an album there, and we made plans to do that in 2020. So that's what this is. We ended up instead of we still want to make an album over there, be it at that studio or wherever we'll end up. Or even just, I mean, I guess now it's just kind of anything, but we definitely want to go and record somewhere else, and we want to have an experience and just really be in it. Whether we're still hanging on to the 606 thing or not, I'm not sure. We'll see how it all goes, but hopefully, because it was bloody incredible, that studio. It was pretty mind blowing to be there. So, anyway, that was the plan, and yeah, it was COVID really snagged us there.
I can imagine that's not the most well, obviously a pandemic is not really an ideal situation for anyone, but I can imagine that when you've got plans like that as well, that's kind of that little bit more I want to say heartbreaking. I don't want to dwell on it too much. Yeah. We will move on, but I can imagine it's upsetting.
You can take it a little personally, and I had to keep reminding myself that it's like, the whole world's going through this, I could, it's not, everyone's got their story like this to some extent. I mean, it might not be specifically what ours is, but everyone had that trip planned or that studying that they wanted to do abroad or that, that move that they wanted to make or whatever that was inhibited by lack of finances as a result of COVID, all sorts of things. So definitely kicking the guts. It was a little while where it was, I guess we're still going, okay, we just keep pushing the date back. And then you just keep looking at the news and it's like, it's not getting better. And then it would, and then there's a new variant. And so by the time I think the moment we did actually decide and realize that it's just not going to happen and we just have to, do it ourselves in the way that we have done previously, which is fine too. And we love our studios here and we love our friends and we love all the people that we work with here. So, but it just took a little while to recalibrate, I guess, to kind of get your head out of the clouds and go back to what's practical. And so, I actually had to just not even listen to, I just had to stop for about, 3 months maybe. Not getting back to emails, not even thinking about the band, not listening to the songs, not really writing. So I had about 3 months off from even thinking about any of it. And then we got back to the drawing board and then we go, okay, what have we got here? What can we do? What can we finish? And how do we invigorate it? And that was a fun process because we pull out these songs again, some of which had become demos for what we were going to do in America. So we originally started recording an album here and then that stuff happened over there. So the album we'd been recording here became demos for what we were going to do there. So then trying to get back in your head, trying to pull these up and make them undemo them, it was like, oh, well, now they're not demos again. They can be the record again. But to do that, you got to kind of, I didn't want them to be cursed with that demo feeling. So we retracked a lot. We went back to the studio a few times and I reimagined a few of the songs and changed, lots of arrangement changes and just making sounds better and different approaches. And so it was fun to go back to these songs and kind of give them a new life as a result of COVID, actually, we in a way, yeah.
I was going to touch on that, whether the songs kind of, because I imagine if you're going overseas, you're recording there, you've got, your best and brightest songs, you've got the pack of what you think is what is the best representation of the band at that time. And I was curious whether the songs that made it onto the EP now are the same songs that we're going over or whether there was a bit of a change or a mix, but it sounds like it kind of that a good portion of them still made it across.
Yeah, there's probably some that didn't make it also just because we still had that thing of this being a more temporary process. We've still got the dream of doing the big record over there. So rather than doing a full length with the way that we were doing it here during the pandemic, we decided to make it an EP. So we just kind of chose the 6 most relevant ones. And there were the 5 that we have been playing already, touring around Australia a lot. And then 2 of them that we wrote when we were over in the States. So it's kind of a collective that makes sense within the time frame of before COVID to sort of, mid-COVID. Around that time, it's this 5-song collection that kind of sums up where we're at. And then I think, which is good because it kind of gives us a bit of a fresh start for when we do make the album. I want the album to be a whole new body of work that's kind of away from the curse of this time. And or it's kind of about, maybe it's part of the process of the whole thing. I'm not sure, but I think I've got it in my head that it's more okay, no, this is album time. Let's instead of still having residual songs left over from perhaps a previous life of the band, like a previous incarnation or era. So that's good. I feel good about that. We get this body of work out, and it kind of feels like we're kind of, I don't want to say retiring, but I guess it's not even, I don't know what the best analogy would be or best metaphor, but, putting these songs out in a way where we can kind of dust them off and go, that's done. These are songs some of these are songs we've been kicking around for a while, so it's nice to do that. And I'm really excited about new stuff as well. So, yeah.
Of course. I feel that, as we kind of were touching on just before we started recording, is that, it's release day, but to a number of people, these songs are brand new today, but for yourselves, you have been living with them for years. So it is that kind of almost like a release of like putting it out into the ether and then being able to
it's kind of like
your focus almost.
Yeah, like being able to move on a bit. I mean, obviously we'll still play the songs live and we'll still love them, but you can't, I think, like being excited about a song does have like a time limit to some extent. Like when you're creating it, at some point you just want to, push the go button and be done with the creation part of a song, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. The creation part, like no more overdubs, no more mixing tweaks. Like you've done the song and people can hear it now. And that means you can actually like let go of that whole process and free yourself up for the next thing. So this is, I guess, probably therapeutic, being release day. I'll probably start writing as soon as we finish 100%. This podcast. Yeah. It's good.
That's very exciting. It's exciting to hear that the writing's already begun on the next thing. I know that touring is kind of back on the cards for you guys as well, along with an Australian tour, which we'll get to in a second. Some very exciting kind of news is that you guys are going over back to the States for South by Southwest, which is a huge opportunity.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who have gone and done it, and I mean, it's definitely it's a huge opportunity, and it's definitely something like where I guess the gravity of the opportunity is up to the artist, in terms of how much you can harness what's going on here. I'm sure there's people that go over to South by and end up playing like 3 crappy gigs in the corner of some place, and perhaps they don't know how to conjure up the right opportunities, and that might be so. Yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity if you can really harness it and work it out. And I reckon we've got a really great team, both over there and here, with our manager Sian. And I mean, we'd probably, if we were just going over there and left to our own devices as just 5 dudes, it'd probably be a shit show. But it's nice. I feel very confident that we're going to have some, that we're going to be able to go. I'm just excited that we're going to actually be able to go over and put on a show, because, and that was my main thing, is that I want to get in front of them. I mean, when we went over there last time, it was very much like tour is the 3-piece. A lot of the shows that we did were like sort of So Far Sounds gigs, if you've heard of them, like these unplugged sort of things. A lot of people do them when they tour, and you get in front of a lot of people, and it's great. But they're very much those inconspicuous shows that you do. And then we did one showcase in New York, and it was, the whole point was for this big showcase gig, but still it was like the trio, and it's hard. The band's so keyboard heavy, and it's like a guitar trio, and we don't play with backing tracks or anything like that. So it's kind of like, it's a different version. So I'm really happy to be taking over the full thing, if COVID permits. But I don't hold my breath for it until we're there on the ground. I'm not holding my breath, to be honest. But it's been a real test in resilience these last couple of years. But yeah, so I think I feel like we've got a bit of power in being able to actually do what we do once we've got the full band on stage. So that's what I'm most excited about. So I don't mind if the venues are tiny and tucked away, or if we manage to score some big ones. We're kind of prepared for whatever, and we still don't actually know what our itinerary is for the festival. So we'll see how we go, But I think it'll be a slightly scaled down version of South by Southwest, which could be, I mean, it could even be a good thing. I'm not sure if there'll be as many Australian bands over there this year, because it'll be just hard to do logistically, and it could mean more eyes and less bands. I'm not sure.
100%. I think there's an element of COVID that people, and I think even the bookers of South by, have reduced numbers a little bit, but I still think that the attendance records are still similar to what they were previously. People are always looking to find that new next thing, or you know, whatever it may be.
And just Austin is just we didn't get to go there last time, so I'm really excited to check out Austin. Hopefully, go back to LA as well on the way back. But yeah, no, definitely pretty excited about that one. And it's cool. I like after the last trip, I've got this real kind of head in the clouds idea of America, just because, you know, if you go there for a month and you might not know what's going to happen, like you can't pre-plan too much. And if you kind of lock into the flow of what's going on, at least that's what happened for me and for us in LA, was it was just all this kind of crazy, weird, serendipitous stuff seemed to be occurring the whole time. And so if Austin's anything like that, just even half as magical, it's good. It just feels good. It feels like you can just go and just do your thing and people will resonate with it. And that's really empowering, because I guess sometimes here it can, you know, we've been doing this and touring here for like 6 years or something now. And you can have moments where it feels like you're really connecting, and then moments where it feels like you're really just trying to find someone who gives a shit. And so it's kind of not knocking Australia. We love it. This is where we're from. But, you know, it's definitely a battle out here sometimes, especially for what we do, you know. Our sort of genre, I think
100%. It's one of those things I find that Australia and South Australia specifically, I know both of us are based in Adelaide, that the arts is appreciated but supported is kind of like another thing, another step. And I feel that over there in Austin, in Nashville, which I want to touch on in a sec as well, like they really do. Like musician is like a top career over there. Like what might be an accountant here in Australia or whatever, is musician is like a high ranking kind of or respected.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's really seen. It's seen for what it is, and it's like it's a huge part of their. It's like their entire economy. I mean, Austin would be absolutely nothing without it, really. Especially with a festival like South by, and just with the songwriters that come out of places like there in Nashville, and the bands, and just just everything, you know. It's and it's 100%. Good, and it's good that it's recognized for what it is, and it's celebrated. That's what it is. It's celebrated, and by people that aren't even in the same industry, which is definitely something we don't experience here. So that can be what contributes to it. Sometimes feeling like a bit of an uphill battle when you're trying to be heard.
This season, Instacart has your back to school. As in, they've got your back to school lunch favorites like snack packs and fresh fruit. And they've got your back to school supplies like backpacks, binders, and pencils. And they've got your back when your kid casually tells you they have a huge school project due tomorrow. Let's face it, we were all that kid. So first, call your parents to say I'm sorry, and then download the Instacart app to get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes all school year long. Get a $0 delivery fee with your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 an order. Additional terms apply.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
I think you've articulated it a lot better than I have by saying it's more celebrated.
I just mumble a lot more. I just cram in a lot more. Not a lot more noise in between words.
The band was recently featured on. You made your US TV debut in. I think it was on a Nashville channel, which is huge. Mainly because Nashville is literally like they. I think LA and New York obviously are big hubs, but in terms of songwriting and musicianship, Nashville seems to be like the place where everyone kind of ascends to. How did that even kind of come about?
I believe that is through there's a woman called Fiona, based in New York, who's, I guess she's our publicist over there. And if that's the right title, someone might correct me on that if not. But she's over there kicking goals for us, and she's working hard, and I think she really believes in what we're doing. And so, yeah, I guess these little things just pop up, and Sian, our manager, will just kind of send me an email like, hey, quick, you got to answer this thing for, and it could be an interview for like a magazine over there, or podcast opportunities or whatever else is going on. And I think a lot of it's coming from Fiona over there doing the hard work and, yeah, spreading the love, I guess, spreading the word, the gospel, getting it out there. So that's good. And it's good that people are, I guess, being approached about us and then kind of going, oh, this is cool. We dig this. Let's get this Australian band on, because we are we're very unknown over there at this point in time. So it's nice. It just makes me feel good that they would take a chance on us and they'd put us on that morning show on CBS in Nashville. It was pretty cool to see this woman doing her intro and then footage of us at the Gov here as well. It was kind of felt like a real nice hybrid of South Australia and Nashville there.
I can imagine it's a kind of feeling of that, especially as we've said, COVID kind of dashing on a lot of people's plans and maybe not disillusioned, but I imagine that it can kind of help reinforce what you guys were trying to do and still wanting to do and still planning to do in the future in terms of kind of working that US market. Yeah.
When you start with a morning show on CBS and you end with like Jimmy Fallon, that's the plan, right? We go straight for the jugular. See, that's all LA. So I think you're right. Like all the songwriting and a lot of the hits are made in Nashville. But then I think a lot of the promo stuff, a lot of the flashy stuff that goes on, that's all Los Angeles. So it's good to have a bit of a footing in both worlds.
Exactly.
And people can be people say mixed things about Los Angeles, just because I hear a lot of people say that it's quite people are quite fake over there or whatever. But I interpreted it differently. Like people I met over there were really excited about what they were doing and they'd want to tell you all about themselves, but also they were equally intrigued and would want to hear like what are you doing here? Like what's going on? And like maybe we could, I mean, maybe it's a lot of it spitballing and it might lead to nothing, but I think the idea that anything can happen at any moment is a good fuel for opportunity. Like even just feeling like not skeptical about every single interaction, which is more of a mindset that I have when I'm here. So I kind of need to have my head in the clouds a little bit for stuff to happen. And I feel like that's encouraged over there, which is nice. Because I mean, if you think literally everything can happen, then perhaps some of the few things that do happen will be pretty amazing. So that's what I really dug about being over there.
It is, yes, I would agree with that. I think that Australia does have like a tendency of the old, what is it called, the tall poppy syndrome, and whereas if you kind of shake that off in the US, if you'd have those possibilities even thought of, and there's a percentage that do come true, you're not going to happen unless you kind of think about it or plan for it or do whatever.
Having said that, there's some horror stories for people that have thought that they were about to make it with some huge opportunity and then never get the callback, or never, like it was all kind of it was all a bar conversation kind of thing. So I guess there's two sides to that. But I guess that's the difference between LA and Nashville. Is LA is like the anything thing, and Nashville is like the practical, let's get to work. And then Austin, a lot of people have said Austin's like a kind of like Adelaide. In maybe they mean geographically or like the size or whatever, but that you can kind of feel a little bit like you're at Adelaide if it was a Muso's Dream version of Adelaide. I don't know. I haven't been there. So
interesting. Please, once after South by, please check back in because I'd be very curious to verify those claims.
I can be your Austin correspondent. You can be like, okay, crossing to Dusty now. And like, well, it's not like Adelaide at all. I was wrong.
I might
Back
take
to
up
you.
on that one, but yeah. The sound of the band is, I feel maybe why it has resonated so much with the US audience as well, is that it does have like not traditional in the sense of like classical, but like a traditional kind of pop, soul, funk sound that's a little bit like not vintagey in terms of, you know how when there are like pop bands that do like a vintage sound, and I'm doing air quotes for people who can't see what I'm doing.
Sure, yeah.
And it's a little bit schmaltzy, and then you've got bands like yourself
Schmaltzy.
or like the
I'm schmitzing.
schmitzing.
I'm schmitzing. I'm schmaltzing. I'm schmitzing. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like the kind of like the lo-fi kind of Muscle Shoals kind of sound, tapping in. Yeah. Where they were, you know, everything to tape, and really, I mean, I love that stuff too. And a lot of double denim and cool, like everything, you know, vintage gear and stuff. But yeah, I think we've got elements of that, and we did start out that way. Yeah, sorry, continue.
No. That's what I was kind of going with it. Is that when you guys started out, what was the original inspiration for the sound of the band, and where you wanted Wanderers to go?
Well, it kind of evolved and changed. I mean, in the beginning, it was like a southern. I guess we called it kind of southern soul. So it was like real inspired by like the Tedeschi Trucks band, and I guess in the beginning we didn't really know what to do. Our first EP, and I was describing this in an interview the other day actually, and it was nice to kind of see the cadence of where it's gone. And I feel like on this record we've actually arrived at we've you know, all these years later, I feel like we actually know what we sound like now. And this record displays what we sound like, and I think it's uniquely us. And I think there's spots along the way where you can almost grab one track from goddamn anything and go, oh, these guys are like an old country band. You grab another track from the same EP and go, these guys sound like Diorama era Silverchair. It's kind of, I guess we were trying to find our thing. No, seriously, there's a track, the last track on our first EP has this kind of like Eternal Life, Jeff Buckley meets Daniel Johns thing with an acoustic. But I actually still love it. It's like a really interesting melodical kind of journey. But anyway, the point is it's a mile away from where we've ended up. And I think that, at the time, and I was wearing a fedora most of the time and a lot of like plaid and denim shirts and stuff. And I think we were definitely I was playing a lot more slide guitar solos, and there was like no keyboards. That first record, I think there's one track that has a bit of Wurlitzer on it, and that's it. And so we were very much down that path. We would have been absolutely following the same kind of routes as bands like Teskey Brothers and Tedeschi Trucks. I don't know if you know, there's a band called the Brothers Landreth out of Canada that were a big inspiration as well at the time. Just because also they were playing as a trio or a four-piece, and incredible like slide guitar work and beautiful harmonies and real groovy as well. But I think after a while, the songwriting thing kind of started blending more with us just loving to just dig into a groove. And we noticed that like on the second record, there's a few songs which kind of take it away from just, you know, where you can tell I've written a song on my own and taken it to the band, and where it went more to like jammier stuff. And I think we just resonated with that more. And we noticed that it resonated with the audience more, and it just came across better. And we just, I just lent into that harder. And as different versions of the band expanded for the live show, you know, eventually I think we had one keyboard player, Logan, he's playing his whirly or organ the whole time. And then he couldn't do some gigs, so we got Jack Strempel in to play with us in Melbourne. And then one time I was like, why don't we have, you know, Pequeno Los Sos? Let's have both at once. And so then we got two keyboardists, and then it was like, well, you need to do the whirly and the Juno, and then you need to do the organ and the Prophet. And so we got they got four keyboards going, and suddenly we've got all these keyboard sounds we're just like loving. And I was getting massively into the Talking Heads, and the Stop Making Sense live concert was really inspiring to me. And then I was like, I want to make a song like that. And then we did a song, What About It? Which is, we really sunk it off my back, which is us first really channeling that sound. And then What I Do came after that. And that was really that Talking Heads kind of inspired thing. I mean, no one else would hear it that way, but I do. And I don't know. It just kind of like, we had a member change, and one of the original founding member that we made the band with, we departed ways, and that kind of paved way for this kind of new approach as well. And it just kind of evolved along the way. I mean, we don't sound at all like we did at the beginning, and I guess that's how it is. But you look across any, I think that's how it should be. Any band, they shouldn't sound, but by the time they get to their third record, they shouldn't sound like they did on their first. You want to hear an evolution, and I think that's what we've done. A couple of times I want to change the name. We did actually change the name, Wasted Wanderers to Wanderers, but even thinking like, maybe this song shouldn't actually be with this band. Maybe I need to create another project just for this sound. And I'm glad I never did, because that's the sound that we've ended up falling into. And I think because we did it that way, it kind of means there's no restrictions on anything we want to do. And I feel like anywhere we want to go, or any evolution we want to make, or anything we want to try, I feel like we can be pretty bold. Like, we are not trapped with any particular paradigms in terms of our sound, I don't think. So we can kind of go anywhere, Even if the sound we're doing at the moment, we get sick of it, we can do a grunge album next. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we go. But I think we'll probably with where we're at, we might stick with it and refine it for a little while, because I think it's I feel like we're sounding really us now, which makes me feel good, because it's a long search as an artist and a writer to arrive at something that is identifiably and uniquely you. So it's a good feeling.
100%. Even using like you mentioned before, Silverchair and Diorama, like look at those first 3 or 4 Silverchair records, and they're all vastly different. The first few, it's kind of similar, but there's evolution there.
Definitely, you can see where it's going. I mean, from Frog Stomp through Freak, and then Freak Show kind of adds these slightly more melodic and intense elements. What was next? Neon Ballroom, and then what was it? Diorama? I don't know, but anyway, just where it ended up was just awesome. And it's just, I mean, it is. Yeah. Anyway, I was listening to the Daniel Johnson podcast. If you haven't, it's pretty awesome. I got so into it, man. But I love that. I really respect him. That kind of reaffirmed how I was feeling too, listening to him talk about his process. Not saying that I'm anything close to Daniel Johns, but it's good. It's freeing to know that, at one point he was the little kid from Frog Stomp, and then he became what he did because he stuck to his guns, and people encouraged his evolution, and there was no pessimist in the room except for him. I think he was like, it sounded like he was. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, 100%. Dusty, usually we would ask our guests what they're currently listening to. Is there any album or EP or track that's kind of taking your fancy at the moment?
Well, like most of the world, I've been pretty blown away by that Silk Sonic record. It's pretty amazing. The music there, like the arranging and the sounds that they're pulling. I mean, it's absolutely just ridiculous. I remember when, because Bruno Mars, I guess, is, as an artist, is a bit not perplexing, but I can't think of the word right now. Polarizing, because definitely in the pop realm, but if you listen to that 24 Karat Magic song with headphones on, you're just like, this is like Quincy Jones level shit. Like, it's amazing. And so I guess him and Anderson .Paak, from he's just slick as, and we've been listening to him for a long time. So I guess it's that blend. So they kind of complement each other in this way that, it's a record full of hits that are like brilliant arrangements, brilliant writing. Even though they're taking the piss a little bit sometimes lyrically, who gives a shit? It's so good. It's really good. So that's like probably like I don't know. That's that. Listening to that record kind of makes me want to quit, because I just don't. I'm not sure. It's too much soul, too much groove. It's bloody unreal. So I guess that one. What else? I'm trying to think of anything new that I've been. I can't really think of anything right now, but there's lots of good stuff out. There's lots of good stuff coming out. Parcels are great. I think I do gravitate my ears towards people that are perhaps 1 or 2 degrees away from what we're doing, just because I don't want to. It's not I'm trying to be narrow with my listening, because then I'll still go go back and put on Soundgarden records, and I still get nostalgic about the other stuff that I love too. But I guess in terms of hearing new stuff, I like to kind of hear which different directions, or which, I know, the pivots that other people are taking from our kind of style. I mean, not that we're inspiring it, but I mean, like, perhaps they're inspired by the similar sort of bands to what we are, or doing a similar sound, but taking it, it's nice to see which directions other people take the same core values in, I guess. And so I feel like
100%.
Parcels kind of take it in that more disco kind of direction. And Silk's, I can't even be comparing us to that, but it's keyboard, it's chord progressions that are, that I hear and go, I wish I thought of that one. And these melody styles that I really admire. So it's cool to hear how other people do that kind of thing, because I think it's kind of
100%.
What we're trying to do as well. Yeah.
I don't think it's like scoping out the competition, but it is, as you said, it might be that at some point yourself, Parcels, Anderson, Bruno even have listened to some of the same records from the past and then taken that inspiration and done different things with it, but it's still come from that same original.
Oh, what's really cool? There's this record I made called Cool Uncle. Hold on, 2 seconds. Which is what artist is that? Bobby Caldwell. So he's like this guy. He had maybe a hit or two back in the late 70s, but known as this like real, I guess, white dude, but with that soulful voice where, a lot of people kind of listen with eyes closed going, who the hell is this? But yeah, so now he's like in his 70s or whatever. And I think him and this producer, Jack Splash, who does a lot of, it's Kendrick Lamar through Alicia Keys and a bunch of other, this guy's just everywhere. And I don't know, I feel like I heard that there was an exchange in Facebook Messenger or something, and these guys ended up making an album together. This like real obscure guy from the 70s made a record with Jack Splash, and they had like CeeLo Green and Maya Hawthorne and a few other people. And if you, after this, go listen to the song Game Over by Bobby Caldwell, and the production and just everything, like, it's unreal, because you're hearing this guy who's in his 70s who hasn't, he's I guess his last bunch of records have been that, like, doing jazz standards kind of thing, and where Rod Stewart ended up and all these other people, they kind of get to that point where they're like, all right, well, let's make music for the 60-year-olds now. But then him and Jack Splash have gotten together and made this like incredible record that's like resonating with the sounds of what he would have been making in the late 70s, sonically, and then also like arrangement wise and harmony wise and all that sort of thing. But then it's like Jack Splash, and you can hear little elements of it, that these little delay things that I hear on like Kendrick Lamar records, and it's just like a real interesting blend, and it's just production 101. It's freaking insane. So my dream is to have an album that sounds that good. So maybe I'll have to work with Jack Splash one day.
I was going to say, I'm sure that is on the cards. The way that the trajectory of the band is going, that is not
anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Exactly.
We'll see how we go.
Dusty, thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh no. Cheers. Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been a good chat. Thanks for waking me up.
All good. Congratulations again on the EP.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
And that's our show. A massive thank you to Dusty Lee from Wanderers for his time. Their self-titled EP is out now, and we've left links in the show notes if you'd like to stream the EP or buy tickets to their show. We also want to give a huge shout out to Sian at Big Oak Records for helping out with today's interview. If you like this show, please subscribe wherever you get your pods and stay up to date when new episodes are released. We release new shows each Wednesday and Friday morning, and we now have a Patreon, which you can find within the show notes of this episode. You can follow the playlist profile on Spotify, and you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Until next week, cheers.
the sizzle of McDonald's sausage. It's enough to make you crave your favorite breakfasts. Enough to head over to McDonald's. Enough to make you really wish this commercial were scratch and sniff.
And if you're a sausage person, now get 2 satisfyingly savory sausage McGriddles, sausage biscuits, or sausage burritos for just $3.33. Or mix and match. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.